These might be one of the most underrated Jordan sneakers of the entire year. And I know that sounds totally crazy saying that the Maniere Air Jordan 4s are underrated, but genuinely, based on the reception of the release of these guys, I think that might be true. So this review was actually supposed to come before they came out, and I say that because I spent a lot of money to get these shoes in time for the review, an early review, but unfortunately they showed up like 3 days after the sneakers released. So I spent like $650 on a pair of shoes that you could buy for retail. Not salty at all. Goat did give me a $46 refund though, because I paid $46 for instant ship, and they did not ship instant. So at least Goat helped me out there, but I am a little disappointed that I spent so much money on these shoes when I could have bought them for retail and probably given you a review around the same amount of time. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. Water under the bridge. These shoes are incredible, and I definitely think they're worth picking up, whether you buy them for retail or even for resale in a couple months. But speaking of the release, the Maniere Air Jordan 4 While You Were Sleeping's released officially through Maniere's website and in store on September 20th for a retail price of $225. They are also releasing on the sneakers app tomorrow, September 26th, for the same retail price. They have sold out on Maniere's website apparently. Last time I checked, there was a bunch of sizes available, and now they're not available anymore, so I'm not sure if they sold out or if they just took them off because they weren't flying off shelves. I'm not totally sure what happened there. Who knows? That said, they were not difficult to get from Maniere's website, and you're probably going to have a really great chance to get them tomorrow if you do want to grab them, and that's the reason I decided to go ahead and give you guys this review, because there is still a release coming, and there's still probably a lot of you guys out there who want to grab these shoes for retail. That said, pairs are available for right around retail on resale sites, and I'll make sure to link them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen right there. You can check the resale prices of certain pairs. I'm sure certain sizes are under retail, certain sizes are over retail, just depends on what size you're looking for, and I also wouldn't be surprised if these show up in the outlets in the next couple weeks. We'll have to wait and see. But the Maniere Air Jordan 4 While You Were Sleepings are an incredible pair of sneakers that I definitely think are worth checking out. So in today's review, we're gonna do just that. But of course, like our old school reviews, before we actually get into the sneakers themselves, let's first take a look at the box. So the Maniere Air Jordan 4 While You Were Sleepings are part of a 6-sneaker release that's taking place in 2024 for the 10th anniversary of Maniere. And all of the sneakers from that 6-sneaker series come in this same box with the Maniere logo and the 10 logo. For Maniere's 10th anniversary, I was checking if it was the right way around. I do have some small gripes about this box construction. Although it looks very cool, it's not the easiest box to open. I just kind of prefer the box tops that just kind of pop on and off. That said, it is still very cool. The presentation is awesome. Getting into the box itself though, on the inside of this inner flap, you've got this metallic silver with the Maniere A logo. And then I already took the shoes out, but inside the box, you've got this really nice burgundy cloth, which was also on the Maniere Air Jordan 3s. And I would assume that it's also going to be part of the other Maniere Air Jordan releases or Nike releases. We already had the 39s, but we're also getting the 95s, the Air Maxes, which I'm really excited about, the Air Force 1s. And I think there's 1 or 2 more. I'm not totally sure. But the boxes probably will all be the same. As you would expect, the size tag is on one side of this box. In this case, I got a size 10.5 women's, size 9 men's, because this shoe is technically a women's release, although it comes in extended sizing, I believe all the way up to a size 16 women's, which is like a size 14.5 men's. So most men are covered, not all men, but most men. And then the official colorway of this shoe is Fossil Stone Metallic Pewter. So as with the Maniere Air Jordan 3s, the presentation of the 4s gets an A+. It's fire. I love it. They absolutely killed it for the 10th anniversary. Maniere is one of my favorite brands that collaborates with Jordan Brand. They're always killing it. Even if the shoe is not hyped up, it's still a very well made and usually pretty nice quality sneaker. But hey, with the box out of the way, why don't we try these guys on and see how they fit? All right, so we've got the brand new Maniere 4 While You Were Sleepings, and of course I've got the original Maniere 4s. I don't remember the name of these, if they even had a name. But I'm gonna compare these two, see if they fit the same as one another, see what the sizing is on the new pair, and also see which pair I like better on feet. I will say, just from first glance, I think I prefer the new pair. I just like the colorway a little bit better. I think it's easier to rock personally. There's a jet flying over. None flew over before, and then all of a sudden, right now, it's like, well, this is a good time. So I'm gonna take off one side of the original Maniere pair, throw on one side of the new pair, and see how they fit side by side. Because obviously the new pair is a women's pair, a women's exclusive, so it's possible that the last is different on this shoe than it is on the OG pair. So I wanna compare them to see if they fit the same. Oh, hold on, so there is a slight difference right off the bat. The insole of the original pair is quilted, and it seems to be a little bit thicker. The new pair is just your standard Maniere A logo insole. So I wonder if that's gonna feel any different, because I can feel the quilted insole on this shoe. I'm assuming I won't be able to feel it in this one because this one just doesn't have it. So let me throw these guys on. All right, so side by side on feet,
they feel the same. They feel like they're both pretty much true to size. You can feel the insole on the old one. You can't feel it obviously on the new one. The only difference with that, other than the actual like texture that you can feel under your feet, is that the old one seems to have a bit more arch support because it kind of flares up in the middle, whereas the new one doesn't do that. It's more of a standard insole. The arch support though is negligible, so it's not a huge deal, but it is something that I'm noticing to be slightly different. But yeah, sizing wise, even though this is a women's pair, it does seem to fit true to size, just like the OG pair. I mean, they feel exactly the same. I thought that they might feel a little bit different, but no, they're very, very similar, if not exactly the same. Let me throw on the other side of the pair, see how I like to look with both on. Obviously, I'm rocking my full Apothecary fit. If you guys want to grab anything that I'm rocking, make sure to check it out at apothecary.com. Gotta have the obligatory shout out to my brand. You guys all knew it was coming. Don't act like you didn't. All right, so yeah, for this new pair, true to size. Now, obviously, because they are a women's size, the sizing's a little bit different in terms of math. So these are size 10.5 women's, size 9 men's. I'm a size 9 men's man, size 9 man. So I grab size 10.5 when it comes to women's shoes because usually women's shoes are a size and a half larger, at least for Nike and Jordan. So for these, I went size 10.5, which is a size 9 men's. They're true to size, they fit me great. If you are grabbing a pair of these, just make sure that you're doing the conversion right. The math that is required to buy these shoes is a little bit more complicated than the math required to buy most other pairs of shoes. But if you've worn women's Jordans before, even though they're basically unisex Jordans, you know what the conversion is. It's a size and a half down from the women's size to the men's size. So keep that in mind. I'm checking myself out in the sliding door and it looks good. These look good, man, with my fit too. Oof. Oh my goodness. Yeah, these are clean and they're true to size and they fit just like the original pair. So if you have the OG pair, go with the same size in these, you're good to go. If you don't have either, just go with your standard Air Jordan 4 size. And if you don't have an Air Jordan 4, although with these guys, they might still be sitting around in stores, maybe not, because I don't think they're that widely available in terms of where they're releasing, but they shouldn't be too hard to find for retail or slightly above. All right, so back to the studio.
So as you all know, the A Ma Maniere While You Were Sleepings are not the first Air Jordan 4 collaboration that A Ma Maniere has done with Jordan Brand. The first pair is the Violet Ore colorway that released last year. Actually, was it last year or was it 2022? I think it was actually 2022. Either way, at the time, this shoe completely sold out and resold for around $400 to $500. Nowadays, though, it's going for around retail. And again, you can grab this shoe through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. But I can't stress this enough. Resale price doesn't determine whether a sneaker is good or not. It really has no bearing on the actual quality of the sneaker itself, just on the hype levels of the sneaker itself. And for this sneaker, yes, it was very hyped up at one point. Now it's not so much, but that doesn't mean it's not a good sneaker. I mean, the Violet Ore upper of this shoe is so different from anything we really see on many other pairs of Air Jordan 4s, and the materials used on this shoe were incredible. And that's obviously still the case on the A Ma Maniere Air Jordan 4 While You Were Sleeping. Now, there are some differences between these two releases. We've already covered some of them in the try-on portion of this video, but if I had to pick one, purely to rock on a regular basis, I honestly would go with the newer release because I like this sort of like lilac, light pink colorway. I think the contrast between the midsole and the upper of this shoe is so fire. This one, still very clean, but if I had to pick one, it'd be the new ones. And speaking of the new release, the materials used on this shoe are fire. And actually, at this point, why don't we dive into the materials themselves really quickly. Around the toe, you've got this really nice hairy suede mudguard, which comes in a sort of tonal matching tan, or I guess light pink color. Fossil bone, I think is the name that they use for it, which is fitting. It could definitely be a fossil bone color, I guess. Sort of a light pink though, I'm not gonna lie. Moving up from there to the toe, you've got a matching fossil bone nubuck that actually wraps around a majority of the upper of the shoe. It feels great. It actually feels better, I think, than the originals. Although I have worn the originals a bunch, so maybe they don't feel as good now that they've been worn. It definitely feels more velvety nubucky, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely got some more softness to it. The originals were more leathery. Obviously nubuck is a form of leather, but these felt more like a regular standard leather. And actually around the mudguard of the sneaker, you didn't have the suede, you just had more of a leather material. But on the new one, the nubuck is just buttery and it feels amazing. Continuing up on the shoe, you've got more of that nubuck on the eye stay of the sneaker, and then you've got these matching TPU fossil bone accents that act as eyelets, both at the bottom of the tongue and also on the wings towards the top of the tongue. Just like the previous release, it is a very monochromatic look. And then weaving through the eyelets, you've got these matching fossil bone laces. Now they do actually give you 2 extra sets of laces inside the box. You've got a cream and a white. I've seen some people switch out to the cream, and the cream definitely looks good, but I kind of dig this sort of light lilac pink color. I think I might just stick with what's in the shoe. I just feel like it's a perfect match. Then underneath the laces, you've got your classic Air Jordan 4 netting in the same fossil bone color, and underneath that, you've got a fabric that looks like it could have the Maniere A logo embroidered into it. I'm not totally sure if that's what that is. It's the same detail that we'll talk about later on in the shoe on the back of the tongue and also on the insole of the sneaker. Just a repeated pattern of tiny little A's. Very, very cool and very subtle. Then at the top of the tongue, you've got more of that light bone fossil colored nubuck with these raw edges. Then stitched into the center of either tongue, you've got these tan patches, which each feature different icons. On the left shoe, you've got the Maniere logo in this metallic pewter color. And then on the right shoe, you've got the Jumpman in the same metallic pewter. And both actually feature the flight text embroidered underneath in white. Moving inside the shoe, on the back of the tongue, you've got some dark burgundy fabric, which features that A logo repeated, like I was talking about underneath the netting on the shoe. And then you've also got an upside down patch. On the left shoe, it says Air Jordan, and then on the right shoe, it says Maniere. And then the rest of the sock liner of the shoe comes in this quilted satin. It's the same sort of material that you find on most other Maniere collaborations. It's a very cool touch. It definitely elevates the collaboration, makes it feel a lot more premium. And then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you do have the insole that I mentioned in the try-on portion of the video. It features the same repeated Maniere A logo pattern, and it comes in a similar sort of grayish burgundy color. However, one other detail that I just noticed is underneath the insole, you've actually got the words, "While you were sleeping," printed on the footbed of the shoe. Very cool hidden detail. I love when brands do that. It's so cool. Again, just in case you missed it earlier on in the video, sizing wise, I would recommend going true to size, but keep in mind these are a women's pair, so the sizing's a little funky in terms of numbering, but actual fit, true to size, and you should be just fine. Continuing back on the shoe to the midfoot, you've got more of the same, some more nubuck, some more netting, some more of that A textured fabric, which I really like. And then of course on top of that, you've got your TPU wing. One detail that's missing on this newer collaboration versus the older one is that little metal button towards the heel area. I don't remember the significance of that button, but it's not on this one for whatever reason. And then moving towards the heel of the shoe, you've got your pull tab with the Nike Air branding in black. I love Nike Air branding. The older collaboration did also feature the Nike Air branding and some text behind the pull tab, but no text behind the pull tab this time around. Then moving down to the midsole, you get two more colors. You get a black accent on the top half of the midsole, and then also this sail color rubber, which kind of wraps all the way around the bottom half of the midsole and also onto the outsole. Then rounding off the outsole, you've got these very dark violet hits on the toe, on the heel, and also on the Nike logo in the midfoot. I would say pretty much any other year, this might be my favorite Air Jordan 4 release of the year. However, this year we did get the military blues, and we also got the Bread 4 reimagines. For me, both of these shoes, because they're OGs or sort of OG colorways, they're always gonna rank higher on my list just for purely personal nostalgia reasons. However, in terms of material quality, and in terms of build quality, and just the colorway itself, this pair is absolutely fire. And the fact that you can grab this pair right now for pretty much retail or just above, and most likely for retail when it drops on the sneakers app, is wild to me. You can grab this incredible Maniere collaboration for an absolutely insane steal of a price, in my opinion. I definitely think the shoe is worth picking up. One of my favorite releases of the year, probably in my top 10. This is actually definitely above the threes. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is above the threes that dropped earlier this year. Just the materials, the color is just different. It's fire, man. I can't get over it. But I know a lot of people must not feel that way because this shoe didn't fly off shelves. So let me know in the comment section down below whether you grabbed a pair of these, whether you're planning to grab a pair of these, or whether you're just gonna let them sit. I'd love to know your thoughts on that in the comment section. If I had to guess, and we're assuming that sneaker resale prices are gonna go back up eventually, specifically Jordan resale prices, I think this shoe is gonna be incredibly cheap now, and then in like 4 years be pretty expensive. Because this is one of those shoes that I think people are gonna start to really like as time goes on, and then start to realize that all the pairs that are out there are being worn and there's barely any DS pairs. That's my guess. I think this is going to be one of those legendary collaborations, but not right now. I think in like 4 years time, people are going to look back on this shoe and be like, that shoe was absolutely fire. Nowadays though, while I think a lot of people do think this shoe is clean, I just don't think the hype is really there, and that's fine. There's no problems with that. But I do think if you want to grab this shoe, now is probably better than later, is my guess. It's crazy to say this about a collaboration pair of Air Jordan 4s, but I do think this could be the most underrated pair of Jordans that dropped this year. But hey, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.